Hello and welcome back to the potting shed. I'd love to have said back to the garden, but here in the UK we're actually in the middle of a bad winter spell. We do occasionally get cold weather here. It doesn't last for long. It's been around for about 7 days. We've got another few days to go and it's going to be mild next week. Exceptionally mild apparently for this time of year, so it'll be back in the garden hopefully to plant. But I'm not one to stay cooped up in the house. And since the decorations came down, inside and also outside the house looks incredibly bare. So the first project today is to make a wreath for the front door. Now I've got lots of hedge and shrub clippings still from when all of these plants were cut back and hedges cut back in November and December. Trusty liandii and also juniper. And casualty of the snowy weather is big branch of eucalyptus came down. So I'm going to make use of all of this to make a lovely winter wreath for the front door. So the first thing I'm going to use is one of these woven rings, and that's what I'm going to attach all of the greens to. It's going to be very simple, very quick. Normally I would use this florist wire to attach all of this greenery to this ring, but at the moment I've got a few vision problems and I can't quite see to use this. So I'm going to use these cable ties. Just makes life a little bit easier for me currently. The first job is to make bundles of greens, and I'm using the liandii to bulk this eucalyptus wreath out. Now the liandii has two different colours. On the underside it's quite a sort of a lightish green colour, but on the other side it's very grey, and I'm going to use that side, the greyish side, because I think that will go better with the eucalyptus. And I'm possibly going to use about 3 or 4 pieces of that to bulk the wreath out. Then on top of that I will use some of this juniper, lovely greyish juniper, so that will go next. Possibly going to use 2 pieces of that. Don't have as much as that, so I'll have to use that a little bit more frugally. And on top of that will then be the eucalyptus. Probably going to use about 2 pieces of eucalyptus. I think I've got enough to go around for that. Then I do have some 4 winter berries which I could add to the middle, and I think I'll do that. So I now need to tie that all together before I can attach it to the base. And I'm going to use the cable tie to tie that together. Look in here, it actually pulls it really tight. Then I'll cut off this loose end, but that's what the first bundle looks like. So I just need to make about another half a dozen of those before I use them to attach them to the garland. So that's all the bundles made, and I'm just now attaching them to this base with more zip ties again because of my problems with my eyes. It's easier for me to be able to see, and you won't be able to see these because they'll be hidden by the next layer that lies over the top. So just tying these on all the way around. I think I've made about 6 or 7. We'll see how many I need to tie on. And that's what it's starting to look like. I have made some without the berries in because I didn't have enough berries to go all the way around. So the last piece, I'm just forcing it through because I want to hide these zip ties. Forcing it through into the woven part of the wreath, and I will tie it in from the back, and that way it covers the zip ties on the previous piece. So I'm just going to turn it over and tie it in. I'm just using a zip tie again through the woven section of the wreath base and tying that last piece on underneath where you can't see it. And that way it will have hidden, hopefully, all of the bits on the other side. So let me fluff this up. Cut the ties off, and I'll show you what it looks like. The second project that I wanted to get done today was to make up a couple of containers, pots to take into the kitchen. It's so very bare since the Christmas decorations came down. So I'm using this, firstly, this trough style container, just adding a piece of terracotta pot over the hole in the bottom and just filling it full of compost. And what I'm going to add to it are a couple of cyclamen, these lovely mini white cyclamen that I got from the garden centre, half price. If you can bear to face the bad weather, it's quite a good idea to visit your garden centres because this time of year they're trying to get rid of plants. So just fill that with ordinary compost, and I'm just going to add, first of all, some white hyacinths. Now these are ones that I've bought recently as well. I did start off quite a few this year in pots. I don't know if you can see from the camera angle there. Some lovely pink ones on the top shelf. But I never have enough. I never start off enough, and I don't know why, so I've had to buy a few more. And they're readily available again this time of year. So these are lovely white ones. And I'm just putting them in the back of this container. And in front of that, I'm going to add these lovely white cyclamen. Now these are quite mini cyclamen, Verona white they're called. Got lots of flowers still to come. I was quite surprised when these were half price at the garden centre. But I just think probably only need 2 of those. I think they would look nice once the hyacinths come into flower, which shouldn't be too much longer. I think they'll be really pretty. Just taking these gloves off because all of the compost is so dirty. And then I'm going to add to them a little bit of compost around them first of all. I'm going to add some moss to the top, just to give it that finishing touch. That should be it. A little bit moss. Now this is moss that I've gathered from the garden. It's one of the pluses of having a woodland garden. You have a readily supply of moss. I'm just going to add that right the way around because it just gives that nice finishing touch to the container. For this next container, I've already added the compost. First plant I'm adding is an asperlenium fern. Now I love asperlenium ferns, they grow wild in my garden. This one I've bought, but they do stay evergreen outdoors for me all year. They're definitely a favourite. Next I'm adding another pot of hyacinths. Just move that along. And these are white hyacinths. They'll probably be in flower in about a week, 2 weeks. At the front I'm going to add a very small ivy, just to spill over the side. And then in the very front gap, I'm going to add another one of these mini cyclamens, the white cyclamens, for a pop of immediate colour. I'll add some compost around it, some moss to finish it off. And that's that one done too. The last container is another one with an asperlenium fern. Again, I've already got the compost in there to save time. I'm going to put this one in the middle this time. And I'm going to add hyacinths all the way around the outside. Now I've picked up pots of these 3 hyacinths and I'm just going to tease them apart. I'll do this over the bucket at the back here, just so the soil doesn't go everywhere. But they're quite easy to pull apart. Like that, and I'm just going to place them all the way around the outside. And I'll do this quite often, and it doesn't harm the actual bulb or the flower. Now I've left the bulb sitting quite proud on top of the compost, but I'm going to add the moss around them. That's 3 very easy winter containers using spring bulbs. Let's take them into the kitchen. Just going to add all of these displays around the kitchen. And they should be in flower in a week or 2. But that's it for today. Hopefully in the next video I'll be outside back in the garden. But thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.